What's going on, everybody? Chase with iDub Hockey, joined today with Brian Molnar, Senior Director of Engineering for True Hockey, here at the True Temper Sports headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee. We have your full UFlex line of youth sticks in front of us, including the new HZRDUS line that is joining the Catalyst line. Before we start talking the differences between the two families in terms of style of play and flex profile, what is UFlex and how does that help the youth hockey player out there?
Well, put simply, UFlex helps the hockey stick grow with the player, right? So when they're smaller, we've got the 15 Flex Youth Stick, which is a smaller shaft shape. It's a shorter stick, much more flexible, really helps them to load the stick and get the most performance out of it at a young age. As they grow, they move into a 20 Flex Youth, then a 30 Flex, then a 40 Flex, then a 50 Flex, which gets all the way up to a length of 54 inches. And then when they're ready to move into that intermediate, we now have an intermediate 50 Flex. So if they're a little bit bigger hands, they can choose that option with the same flex. So we really have something for every player. What sets us apart on the UFlex line is really that our philosophy of stick design. We design our youth and junior sticks exactly like our senior sticks. So if we're designing a HZRDUS 9X4, we get that senior stick done, tested, durability checked, everything's good to go. We use the exact same construction, same technologies, same materials for those junior sticks. So there's no loss of performance. You're just getting a smaller shaft, a little shorter stick, more flexible. You're getting all the same benefits that the pros do. So that's what really sets us apart. As a manufacturer, prior to starting True Hockey in 2014, oftentimes we would be building senior sticks for companies, but they would outsource their junior sticks to lower cost manufacturers, different process. The only thing similar about it was the graphic. Our philosophy is that junior stick has to be exactly like the senior stick. And it's really paid dividends. We've really done well with our UFlex line since we launched it. I want to say about 7-8 years ago was our first UFlex line, and it's been a mainstay for us.
And I think the cherry on top that I'll let you finish too is you don't just mean the top end 9X4, the 9X3. You mean that even for the entry level 3X3 or 3X4,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, so for both Catalyst and HZRDUS for 2024, we have the 9X4 HZRDUS, 9X3 Catalyst, and a UFlex line, so 15 Flex all the way up to 50 Flex. We also have our entry-level price point, the 3X3 Catalyst and the 3X4 HZRDUS, 15 Flex all the way up to 50 Flex in a UFlex line. So if you don't want the high-end price point, you want an entry-level stick, you have a player that's just getting into hockey, you can start them in that 3X. As they grow, they mature, they improve their skills. If they'd benefit from that higher end stick, we have that option as well.
And I like how it's built just like the 9X4 is too. So it's the same process, like we mentioned off camera too, just different materials when we're talking about the two price points, but it's built exactly the same.
It's built exactly the same. And that comes from our background in manufacturing. We manufacture all our own sticks in our own factory in North America. If you start changing your process, if you start changing materials, you have to teach people how to make a stick a little bit differently. We build them all the same way. So whether it's a 85 Flex 9X4 we're building for an NHL player, or it's a 40 Flex junior stick we're building for a kid just starting out, it's going to be built the same way, same materials, same construction, same technology.
Same factory, right?
Same factory.
Okay, well, let's talk about the differences between the two families. So we have HZRDUS, we have Catalyst. If I'm sold on the UFlex line, how would you maybe guide me into one family over the other?
So HZRDUS is more for that quick release, the quick motion shots. It's going to have a stiffer blade. It's going to have more flex in the bottom of the shaft so you can get off that quick wrist shot without having to wind up to load the stick. Catalyst is that mid-kick profile. It's got a little bit softer blade. It's more about accuracy and power, and that's mainly the main differences there.
And so we compared the two families. Let's compare the top end price points to the lower end price points. That 3X3, 3X4, like you mentioned earlier, this is great for that new to hockey player looking to try the best game on earth. And then once they really dive into it, they start playing competitive hockey, probably looking at the 9X3 or the 9X4. But if I was trying to compare tech and spec between the two, what are the real differences between the top price points to the lower price points?
The main difference is weight and materials used. So we use the same process for every hockey stick we make. It's called our Azenic technology. We compression mold the shaft, we co-mold the blade. We're the only stick company that uses this process. It's what's unique about True. The only difference is the materials. So in a 3X4, we're going to use a little bit thicker materials, a little bit lower cost materials. That's going to keep the cost down, but we have to use more of those materials to get the durability up. As a result, it's going to be a little bit heavier stick. Flex profile might be a slight bit different depending on the materials we use because we're not using as many plies, we're using thicker materials. And then on the 9X4, like I said, it's built exactly like the high-level senior sticks and the pro sticks that we build. It's going to use thinner materials, higher end materials. You can see it's got this spread toe carbon weave for the full length of the stick and the blade. So it's mainly just material differences is what explains the differentiation in the cost. And with those higher end materials, we're able to get a lot of weight out of the stick.
So it's a little more responsive, a little better recoil. It's definitely going to be lighter. But again, you know, if you're just getting, or if your child's just getting into hockey, that 3x3, that 3x4 is going to be more than good enough. Absolutely better than cutting down an adult stick for that youth player.
Absolutely.
Still a great choice, but again, you also have that elite option. And then last but not least, in terms of curves, again, for that new to hockey parent out there, can you walk me through the differences in the curve options and maybe where you would steer a parent into one or the other?
We have two curves for the junior UFlex line, the T92 and the T28. So both are toe curves. T92 is the most popular curve on the market. It's a good fit for everybody. It's probably a good place to start out. T28's got a little bit more of a toe curve on it. It's just really preference. For junior and youth sticks, all of our sticks are lie 5. So slightly lower lie for shorter players. Helps them control the puck a little better.
For sure, and that T28 too has a very open toe on it too, so even I struggle to keep it down sometimes just because I'm not the best shooter out there, but it's also great for those youth players trying to lift the puck too.
Exactly.
But I couldn't agree more. I think T92 is a great starting point, but if you've got a young sniper out there, that T28 is probably a great choice too.
Absolutely.
Perfect, Brian. Well, hey, thank you very much for having us out here and walking us through the UFlex line.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for you at home that want to check out the entire youth offering from True Hockey, make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.